shuttle, and you can visit it and actually go inside. Now, unlike this, any place that has a real space shuttle on exhibition, you're not allowed to touch it or go inside. So this is a real advantage for you. Now, that 747 aircraft that it sits on top of is a real shuttle carrier. In fact, that particular one was used to fly a large number of missions where they flew space shuttles that landed at Edwards Air Force Base in California. They carried it piggyback back to Florida where the launch facilities are located. What we see is a cow pasture. Now, as we drive around the other side of it, you'll see some Texas Longhorn cattle, and these are part of what we call the Longhorn Project. In this facility, high school students from Rocket Park, and inside that building is a complete Apollo Saturn V moon rocket assembly. Now, we'll be talking about that later on because that will be our last stop of the tour, and we'll get an opportunity to get off and walk through the building, home of the development, project management, and testing for not only spacecraft, but all of the equipment that relate to it and the study of the effects of space flight on human beings. But NASA's continued to purchase and replace them, and it's what we now call the free-range bicycle program. Employees can simply walk outside, pick up any bicycle lying there and ride it wherever they want to go and drop it off for the next person. And it's proved very successful. Now, this building that's on our right that we're passing is building number 17, and two very important things happen inside that building. That is the project headquarters for Orion, which is our next generation deep space exploration capsule that will be capable of taking 4 astronauts not only back to the moon, but much further out to the asteroids and eventually to Mars. Also in there are food science laboratories where they design and also make the food that's used on the space station. That when you're flying extended flights that you suffer not only muscle loss, but even loss of bone density. They've also been discovering that the bodies undergo genetic changes. And so they have to carefully study and exactly know what the cause of this is, and then also the best ways to avoid it. Because when we go to Mars, we'll be on missions. The important one right now is the one for the International Space Station. Inside that room, there are crews and controllers that do all of the flying and control of the space station. The 6 astronauts that are on board are really only there to perform experiments and do research. Now, it's kind of obvious that there's some things going on in here. Things don't look right, and you'd be right in assuming that. SpaceX and the Boeing capsules can hold crews of up to 7. So that will greatly improve our ability to take people up and bring them home. But perhaps the most important reason is every time a U.S. astronaut, just one astronaut, flies on a Soyuz to go up to the space station, the U.S. government writes the Russians a check for $84 million. That's per astronaut, per flight, there that explorers can live in for a year or longer. Now, we don't want the astronauts to build it because, first of all, it'll take too much time. They won't have a good place to live until it's completed, and additionally, it's a very dangerous thing to do. Mars only has 1% the atmospheric pressure as Earth, so it's almost like being out in space. And if they had an accident while building it that damaged their spacesuit, they could die.
Each of these astronauts had the daring and discipline required of their calling. Each of them knew that great endeavors are inseparable from great risks. And each of them accepted those risks.
That's an immense amount of technological process in a very short period of time. All right, if you would please keep moving as you come through the way. Weighs 6.5 million pounds when fully fueled, sitting on the launch pad, and it stood 363 feet tall. What that smoke was made of. No guesses. Water. Whenever you burn hydrogen and oxygen together, you'll just long enough to thoroughly check out all the systems and make sure everything was operating perfectly. Then attached to the top of that, you'll see that green white section. that's called the service module. And then attached to the top of it is the Apollo spacecraft. The Apollo spacecraft and service module stayed connected to each other almost through the entire flight because most of
The work done here every day in Space Station, it drives our development of future missions of discovery that will send men and women exploring far beyond Earth orbit. We look forward to having you come back soon and join us on